We're calling it peaked after college for the moment. Let's go in. Let's do. I was going to do a timer, and let's do 30 seconds on why we wanted to do this. Because is it because we're just white dudes, and that's what white dudes do? Record their every thought to spread their knowledge to the masses. Probably about right. Let's do. I'll do my elevator pitch. My 30-second. Here's my elevator pitch on why to do this. Gautro, if you remember about 15 years ago, you said, hey, we should do a radio show, like a podcast. That was before it was really a very common thing about sports. And if we'd have done that, maybe we changed the course of history. Maybe you're not the commanding officer of an aircraft carrier. Maybe, we're Barstool Sports. Who knows? Anyway, I think it's a good idea because we have interesting life experiences. Maybe we can share a little bit more than just sporting stuff. Maybe career stuff and educational stuff, too. That's it in a nutshell. Bang. 30 seconds. All right. So I'll pass the baton to you. What do you got? Would you care to give your 30 seconds on why to do this?
Yeah, brother. First and foremost. Okay, so first and foremost, Chili. I mean, I just love both of you guys, right? We've been through a lot together, known you guys a long time. I think all three of us, again, biased because we care about each other, but I think we all have unique perspectives on sports. Also, a lot of life experience, different jobs, different experiences, things that we've done throughout, post academy. And so I felt like I wanted to do something fun, talk to you guys, and just kind of share, who we are, what we think.
Good. Now maybe we got everything set. Jay, what's your 30-second pitch on why you want to do this?
On why I want to do this? I think it's fun because we have these conversations amongst text a lot of times, and with the three of us and some other guys, and there's a lot of funny stuff that gets said that I think would be fun for other people to hear, and I kind of like the format of let's just shoot the breeze and see what we end up talking about, because starting with sports is a great jump off point, because I know there's one topic I wanted to get to today which is sports gambling.
There you go.
We got an NBA scandal, and I think it's a matter of time before there's a NFL scandal, because it's too easy to make money, and the NFL owns half of FanDuel.
Yeah, I mean, just 2 games today. I saw that Kansas City Denver had 140 more yards and penalties than Kansas City. And the 49ers, even though I'm a 49er fan, they had 1 penalty, and the Cardinals had 18. Come on, man. That just doesn't. It feels very outcome deciding stuff there, and
Yeah, and there's not a lot. I mean, I guess you could argue baseball, like the home plate umpire in baseball could probably control the outcome of a lot of games with balls and strikes calls. But the NFL, I mean, if you had a crooked ref in the NFL, it doesn't take much.
yeah.
Pass interference penalties are the ultimate. Sometimes you see them and you're like, that was so ticky-tack. And then other times you'll see a blatant PI that doesn't get called.
Yeah. And I think baseball somebody has the ump tracker. Have you ever seen that where they rate the balls and strikes and the runs created? Yeah, I mean, I think there's too much money involved in everything. We were talking about sports gambling, and I have a funny sports gambling story, but have you guys ever been big gamblers on sports?
I've never gambled on sports.
So, 1993 fall, I want to say the Rams were undefeated and the Falcons were winless. And the Rams were playing the Falcons, and the Falcons were favored. And my roommate at the time and I were like, this is basically free money. So we, in Annapolis there was some bookie that somebody knew who took bets. I never made a bet, and I had no money, but we're like, this is essentially free. So let's just make a number, and then we're just going to win that, so it doesn't matter. And so we came up with a $600 bet we were going to make. I did not have $300 at all, or nowhere near $300, and it would have been a big amount for me at the time. And so we made our $600 bet, and we're like, this is going to be fucking easy money, man. This is free. And then we did not realize, though, that Deion Sanders was coming back to play for the Falcons that game. That was his first game back from playing with the Braves. And they kicked the shit out of the Rams. And luckily, and so we were fucking sweating it. And luckily, the bookie was super shady, and we figured out that he didn't actually take the bet. But then he tried to say after the fact that he did. But anyway, we didn't, you know, tell him to fuck off. And so we didn't have to. But then that was it. I laid off sports gambling from that point on. I was like, clearly I'm bad at this, and so I'm never again. So stayed away from it.
It's good to learn from bad experiences like that. I was fortunate enough to be roommates with Joe, the Korean guy we all know, who he got so bad into sports gambling while at the Naval Academy that he had to give away the title to his '67 Mustang to his bookie.
Wow.
Yeah.
You'd think he'd learned his lesson then, but then I ran into him on the island of Diego Garcia in the Indian Ocean. It had to have been January or February of '98 or '99. I can't remember. It was the year the Falcons were in the Super Bowl.
'98.
When Dan Reeves was coaching them. Joe had placed an enormous bet on the Falcons to win outright, and they lost by like 40 points or something. It was a massive blow. He came to my room in the officers' quarters because he was that like working with the Merchant Marine because there's like a big resupply depot at Diego Garcia, and he was like a Navy liaison on the ship. So he came when we watched that game together, and he was not thrilled about losing the.
So, Ultra, you may have some Joe stories as well, but I will always remember in '99, actually on the way to your house for Y2K New Year's, I actually stayed in your room. You were underway when you lived with Al, unless I'm completely making this story up, but pretty sure you and Al lived in San Diego. And I stayed in your room. Yeah, I stayed in your room. You were underway or doing something. But anyway, on the way down, Joe had been on a huge gambling heater. He'd won 30 grand or so. And so he was top of the world, and then
Holy cow.
I'll always remember he put a huge bet on Michigan State, and they were playing like Georgia, or not, they were playing like Michigan Scholastic Technical Barber College or something. And this was like the early preseason games, and Michigan State was favored by 40 or something, and Joe was like, he bet on Michigan State, and by 40. That school lost outright. Michigan State got beat by Michigan Tech or whoever it was. Lost outright. And to add insult to injury, Michigan State won the national title that year. So just unbelievably bad, like horrible luck. And it was like a $20,000 bet. It went on to, that guy has some bad gambling stories. But yeah.
So yeah, sports gambling bad.
Listen, it doesn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise me that what's going on right now with the basketball, with Chauncey Billups, and also with the baseball, the two guys just getting indicted from the Gardens. It just doesn't surprise me. I mean, honestly, I think that sports in itself is trying to be very progressive and like, hey, this stuff was already happening illegally before this mainstream shift, right? And then now that they said, hey, let's be progressive, like we can handle it. It's laughable to me that every time you see a commercial for betting, it says, hey, by the way, if you have a betting problem, like call this number or whatever. Like someone who actually has a betting problem or a gambling problem is actually looking at that saying, you know what? I think that's a good call. Maybe I should go ahead and give someone a call and get some help. And especially with everything you can bet on now, like the prop bets. I mean, it's not just betting like who's going to win straight up or who's with the points who's going to win. Now it's like it's real time, and it's like it doesn't surprise me that you have some guys that are getting involved saying like, "Hey, if my line is 9 points, 4 rebounds, and 2 assists, I'll just take myself out after a quarter and say my hamstring hurts."
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, and then they're going to pocket some money off of that. And you got guys making huge bets on that. It's just, and now you can't walk the dog back. I mean, I don't see how you possibly do that. I saw something the other day that said baseball, there's an agreement. They want to limit at least the prop bets piece of it. Like, okay, like that's going to do anything. I mean, I just think it's so problematic now. And I don't know how you get out of this.
Yeah, it's a huge fucking mess. And it's not like the old days, right? Point shaving is a little more complicated, right? And you're letting your teammates down or whatever. But you could be, if you're the last reliever off the bench and you have a prop bet that you'll walk a guy, and you walk a guy in garbage time, it doesn't impact your teammates. They probably don't care, and you make 10 grand off of it or whatever. But to me, like, Chauncey Billups has a ring. What is he doing? He's an NBA coach. He makes plenty of money. Like, what is the incremental benefit they're making off this? I mean, $500,000 a year. I don't think it was even that much, but that's not worth it. It's like risk adjusted. It's terrible.
Yep. I watched a video about all this, and the bottom line is, you have these people on their phones. Like, you can be watching a football game and literally bet every single play. Is it going to be a run or a pass? Times 1,000 if he fumbles. And just all these crazy prop bets. And the other thing is, like, it's 24/7. Like, it can be noon, and you can be sitting here on your phone betting on ping pong tournaments in Bulgaria. That's apparently a big deal, is betting on ping pong.
I knew tennis was big. I didn't know ping pong was a big betting event. Jesus. Well, how do you fix it? What do you do?
I don't. You gotta make it illegal, I guess. I mean, that's the only thing. Is the bottom line? And what this video was getting at is, all this stuff exists. The only people making money off of this are FanDuel and DraftKings and Caesars. All these things you see commercials for nowadays.
Yeah.
What commercials are on the air is a pretty good bellwether of things. You'll never forget back in the 2000s listening to sports talk radio. You guys listen to sports talk radio. You remember the commercials that would come on like, hey, you have no credit, bad credit? We can get you a mortgage with no cash, nothing. Those commercials all the time. And guess what? Those people issuing those mortgages were not doing the economy a favor.
Well, there were tout lines back in those days, though, betting tout lines. Because I had a buddy a buddy of mine from high school got in some trouble, and he paid $500 back on a 900 number type deal for a tip, and it was the tip was I think it was BYU versus Hawaii in college football. It's like always take Hawaii. Hawaii is a pretty big dog, and he paid $500 for this tip, and he ended up playing a huge bet, and Hawaii covered, so it ended up being worth it for him. But I remember there were like some remnants of it. Wasn't in your face like it is now. But now it's like all the time. And I just ignore it. Thanks to Dion. Dion showed me the way.
Dude, who would have thought?
That man,
right? Like all these years later, like Dion was like a mentor to you.
He showed me at least. I wish he'd have showed me that despite some successes, you're probably not going to win a lot of money at table games as well. But I had persistent hopes that I can beat the odds in table games. Alas.
Speaking of Dion, got to see his son play quarterback today. Went about as expected.
Yeah, I heard he had 2 sacks and a pick in his first 7 drawback.
Sounds about right.
Who is this?
I saw highlights of him thrown in the dirt once.
A Deion Sanders kid who plays for the Browns. Is that how you pronounce it? Yeah, he got in there.
At least he got in the game.
Niners play Cleveland in a couple of weeks, and I'm like, finally. Well, the other guy got hurt. Dylan Gabriel got hurt, but I'm dreading playing that Cleveland defense. Their defense, I mean, Myles Garrett, I think, has had 9 sacks in the last 2 games. He had 4 sacks today and 5 the previous game.
Dude, I think Myles...
Yeah, he's good.
I think Myles Garrett had 4 today, right? Dude.
Yeah. At least when I saw, hell, he might have had more than that. Did you see? I mean Brissett,
yeah.
I told you to get on Brissett.
Unbelievable.
He had 2 picks, but Brissett had 47 completions. He completed over 80% of his passes, and he threw 57 of them.
40,
so that's not good defense.
47 completions?
Yeah. He threw 2 picks, though, but they were screwed, man. They'd have a good play, and the refs would be like, laundry. And then they're like, okay, well, I got to try something. It's like 2nd and 25 now. So
I'm back, yeah. Who
knows?
knows? Maybe DiBartolo still owns the Niners, dude. He's...
Well, that's what I was...
Wasn't he involved in some shady shenanigans?
Well, in the state of Louisiana, which is, I would imagine, their government has, a history of doing some shady dealings on, I forget what it was, but there was some stuff. But,
yeah, fair.
But I was thinking back to that, they had a salary cap violation back when the salary cap was brand new. So everybody's on the margins. Yeah, the DiBartolo family's probably done a little shadier stuff than some others, but, can't all be Magic Johnson or whatever. That was going to be my hot sports take. Was going to be non-NFL related. My hot sports take is that The Oklahoma City Thunder are the Shohei Ohtani of teams. Let that soak in. Let that.
That's a bold prediction. I don't watch the NBA anymore, so I can't really opine on that.
Well, the reason it's actually not a great analogy or metaphor or whatever, but like I think that it's a team that's put together that works like, they just said, let's get some like super aggressive defenders at every position, and then like a bunch of guys who will also buy into an offensive system, so they're really good on both ends of the field. It's a little shaky, but I think they might go like 75-7.
Okay.
Well, here's
God, I just wanted you to hear Ohtani so you could get into it.
yeah, you got me fired up now, dude. So I would say this about Oklahoma City: they're a really good basketball team. I mean, I think last year they kind of broke through that ceiling of winning the championship, and playing some tough games, but showing that they, even as a young team, they had the mettle to get through and win the championship. And I think their GM, when they gave away and traded people and got draft picks, he did the right things with those picks. And that team they're just loaded. They have height. They're athletic. That fan base has nothing there really. I mean, obviously they have the Sooners, but other than that, that's their team. And man, they are rabid fans, and so that's just a hard place I think to win. And I don't know if they're going to win 75, but I think they're gonna win a lot this year. And I would be shocked if they don't win the championship, because I don't think the East is that good this year. I think Philly bounced back a little bit, but the Celtics are down. I think Oklahoma City is going to. I mean, really, the biggest challenge would be just getting through the West. And as long as they can get through the West, I think they're going to win the championship.
Well, with Luka, I mean, you got to be a Gautreaux, obviously, a huge
Ecstatic.
Laker fan. Ecstatic about Luka. I mean, and then Denver's tough. I mean, Denver could have beat them last year. Denver's great. So I don't know. But I think it's interesting. It's just really, you're at a disadvantage in the NBA when the players have so much leverage. To put together a team like Oklahoma City did, it's fucking incredible.
Yeah.
But you're right.
It's kind of old school, right?
They got lucky with the SGA trade, with trading Paul George and getting SGA thrown in there, and who knew he was going to be as good as he is, but pretty insane stuff. But the drafting has been unbelievable. But they've had a history. I mean, that franchise they drafted 3 consecutive NBA MVPs. They went, they had Westbrook and Harden and Durant in a row. Insane stuff.
Durant.
Well, let's do like one more thing. I don't know why this came into my mind the other day, but I feel this is a somewhat interesting question, but maybe only to me, and I'm going to edit a lot of this shit out because I feel like I babble a lot. But when you guys were home from school as kids, what's your standout memory from being homesick from school, Gautreaux? Or were you never? Maybe you were never sick.
I wasn't sick often, but I remember one time I was sick. I don't even know how old I was, dude. It could have been like 10, 11 maybe. And I had those Fred Flintstone vitamins, like the gummies. We had those back then. And I think my dad was like, dude, listen, right? You only get like 2 of those a day. So don't be going in there and grabbing those and just eating those. And I swear, I think I ate like 30 of them because they were so good. I mean, this is before kind of gummies were a big deal. I mean, these are non-THC laced gummies, but I was in heaven, man. I loved it. And that's honestly one of my best memories of like when I was homesick and just, I was so happy to have unopposed access to the Fred Flintstone vitamin gummies.
That's pretty wholesome. And that shows there's a clear, I'm 2 years older than you, and that's an important 2 years because all I had were the chalky Flintstones, which were still incredible, and I was convinced they were candy. We all thought they were candy. They put the fucking Flintstones on them. Come on. They were good.
Yes.
I remember most people's number one memory of being homesick, if you grew up in the 70s or 80s, is watching The Price is Right. And I definitely remember The Price is Right. But I remember watching Green Acres, and I was trying to figure out if anybody else watched Green Acres, or if it was an Arkansas thing, or if it was a fact that I'm 2 to 3 years older than all of you guys thing. Have either of you ever watched Green Acres?
I'm familiar with it, but I never watched it.
You're probably...
No, I know what you're talking about, but never watched it.
I was into the daytime soaps.
Did you
Dude, I
really?
was too, Schultz. I would
Yeah.
watch this, dude. I'd watch the soaps. Yes.
And Days of Our Lives,
Yeah.
that used to be
Dude, used
real.
to love that as a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when would you watch that? During the summer?
It was during the summer mostly. And the funny thing is, I
Yeah.
worked temporarily one summer at an auto shop, and we were like building shelves for their parts warehouse. And all the mechanics at noon every day, it was like 1 hour lunch break. Those guys would sit down and flip on Days of Our Lives in the little break room. All these greasy car mechanics.
The,
We'd just go in there
the
with them
guilty
and
pleasure.
watch it.
Yeah. The guilty
Yeah,
pleasure.
totally.
Well, the Guilty Pleasures is the only TV I consume now with my wife. We watch nothing but reality shows. And so Love is Blind, Married at First Sight, I'm very conversational about any of those. I'm up to date on all of them at any given time. But I also have a theory that almost everything that people like is a soap opera in some ways. Sports are a soap opera, essentially, right? Like,
Yeah.
you followed your team all these years, there's cast changes and stuff. There's all, drama and bullshit that goes along
So we
with
want
it.
heroes and villains, right?
Yeah. So it's like, but that's really what, you need that in your life. So it kind of makes sense to me. I never got into them. I was too busy with Green Acres, Green Acres, place to be.
That reminds me though, it's not so much a homesick from school because I don't have any homesick memories other than just like being home and feeling like crap. But we used to have snow days. So I grew up in Wisconsin,
Yeah.
and back in elementary school, you'd get a snow day. And back then, when growing up, it's not like today, like where we always knew where our kids were when they were that young. But back then, it was like, we're going out sledding. Okay, bye. You just go do whatever you want. And we would go out on snow days. There would be, feet of snow, and they'd have these plows that would go through our neighborhood. And, plow comes through and it kicks the snow off the side of the plow. So we would get on the side of the street that the plow was on, like just off the street, and it would come shoot just a wall of snow on you, and it would just knock you over. We thought that was the funnest thing ever, and it was kind of fun.
That sounds rather painful. I wouldn't do that now. I don't think I would enjoy it now.
I think I would do that now, just for the memory would trigger.
I think what's funny is that Schultz's snow day in Wisconsin was like, hey, listen, there's a massive storm coming. There's going to be like 2 feet of snow. It's like, yeah, you know what? We might have to call school off. Here in Virginia Beach, it's like, dude, there might be a frosting tomorrow. We're canceling
Yeah,
school. In fact,
that
it'll
sounds
probably be a
weird.
couple days. We'll let you know when you can bring your kids back. It's so
That,
funny,
that
the
it's
difference.
exactly like that here in Austin. They'll be like, it might, and literally it has been might, like might, and it didn't, but they still canceled school. You're like, it's just cold. It's just like a little
Yeah.
chilly. School's canceled, and people, I don't know if they do that in Virginia, but they'll buy every fucking item off the shelves at the store too, man. They'll be
Oh,
like,
yeah.
we gotta
Oh,
hunker
yeah.
down. We gotta hunker down.
Yeah,
Like,
people are going crazy.
I
I'll tell you
remember.
what, though, snowball fights, building snow forts. I mean, it was epic.
That
But
sounds
even when
good.
we'd get a blizzard, you'd miss one day of school. It's like blizzard comes in Tuesday night, no school on Wednesday, but you're back Thursday. There was
Well,
never any consideration of more than one day.
Well, I remember coming to visit you once, and your dad was driving me to the airport, and it snowed. To your point, Gautreaux, it snowed like 4 feet or something ridiculous. 2 feet. It snowed a lot, and your dad was driving me to Chicago, I think, and I was like, well, shit, I'm probably snowed in here, and it's like, no, the snowplows cleared the highway, and we were going 80 to get to Chicago from Wisconsin.
Schultz's dad's like, I got this.
Yeah, he did, but I mean, it was like normal traffic day. I was like, holy shit, it's a whole different deal. And living
Classic.
up in the Northeast
Yeah.
where they didn't really, they didn't Boston and stuff. They don't care. If you have like the subway in New York, it can snow as much as you want. There's no excuses. But,
Yeah.
So the other, I'm not going to go through it, but like, here's a final. I'll leave you guys with this question because I'm going to see how this thing does. But are there any TV shows from growing up that you know the majority of the words to, if they have words?
The theme songs, Greatest American Hero.
Could you start from the beginning though? I think everybody knows the big parts.
No, I can't. I can only start from the chorus. Believe it or not.
Wait, is that not the beginning though? That might be the beginning.
No, there's a lead in. I'm pretty sure.
There
That one's
is.
very, yeah. The main
Yeah.
part of that everybody knows.
There's
for
a lead
sure.
in.
It's a good one.
Cheers is a good one where everybody knows your name.
Are there words? Wait.
Yeah, sometimes you wanna go.
Yeah, there's I think that
where it
Oh yeah, yeah. Okay.
everybody knows.
This is really tied into my Green Acres thing because I can remember like 80% of the Green Acres theme song, and it was really an interesting song because it was about a guy who wanted to move to a farm, and his wife, who was Zsa Zsa Gabor, who wanted to keep their home in Manhattan.
Zsa Zsa
And it was
Gabor.
like it was like a rap as a mini, a rap, battle. Not a rap battle, but there was an exchange of ideas through song. It's a good song. And I was thinking, man, is that the song I know most? But like, people probably know. Any of us could probably do 70% of Gilligan's Island, I would think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, once you get rolling, I think it'd come back to you. Like Magnum PI, the instrumental. I always remember that.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
that and that Miami Vice was another instrumental. In fact, I just heard it on the radio the other day. That they were playing it a couple days ago on the radio. So there's like some of
Yeah.
those songs that, like, as soon as you hear it, you know what it belongs to. But
Beverly
I can't really
Hillbillies.
remember all the. Yep.
Once was a man named Jed, who worked really hard to keep his family fed. Then one day when he shoot for some food, up from the ground come a bubbling crude.
Yeah,
oil.
that might be okay. That might be up there. I don't know how it ends though. I'm not sure if I could get to the end, but you're right.
Yeah, you got to get into that whole
So
moving to
the Jeffersons moving on up
Oh,
to
yeah.
the east side
That's a good
to a
one.
deluxe apartment in the sky.
Yeah,
So I
is
kind of
it-
remember that a little bit.
Yeah, that's a great song. That might have actually been. There's a few of those songs that were actually songs like "Welcome Back, Kotter." Their theme song hit number
yeah.
one
Oh,
on
yeah.
the charts. Tom Brehan wrote that one up.
Yeah.
Kind of a strange
Yeah.
one. I was thinking that. I was kind of pondering that because I don't know. There's not that much these days. There's not that many interesting intro songs. I liked BoJack Horseman, but it was mostly the imagery on that show. But anyway, okay. Well, you guys want to call it, and then I will. We can upload this. Just let this
Yeah.
upload, and I'll sort through and see what it looks like.
This microphone to work.
All right, fellas. Yeah, it just,
All right,
again,
see-
I love it. I mean, we just gotta once it smooths out, I think it'll be good. But I love, I think we can start getting some interesting topics and talking about a lot of different things. I mean, you're talking about TV shows. One of the things that I as you were talking about that, I just thought to myself, do you remember like Archie Bunker? Do you remember
Yeah.
like how politically correct that show was, dude?
Yeah.
Like to think that
Well,
that stuff was used to be on.
There was a show where Edith got raped. That was an Archie
Yeah,
Bunker
I just-
episode, or else she was gonna get raped. And there was an episode where a guy was
Yeah.
like, "I'm gonna rape
Just-
you, but let's sit in this room and discuss whether or not I should rape you." Like, what the fuck? But yeah, this is a good.
Just crazy
Well,
stuff
keep your-
like that,
keep-
and the fact that okay.
But anyway, all right, fellas. Good night. Love y'all.
All right. Peace.
All right, love you guys. Peace.